Hello friends, welcome to Current Affairs Review. Today in this video, we are going to discuss American freedom of navigation operations in the Indo-Pacific from a geopolitical and legal perspective. On the 7th of April 2021, USS John Paul, the 7th Fleet of the United States, conducted a freedom of navigation operation inside India's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, without India's prior consent. The operation was conducted 130 nautical miles westward of the Lakshadweep Islands. The general argument reiterated behind FONOPS is that it was conducted in a country's territorial waters, contiguous zones or exclusive economic zones with the objective to demonstrate that the country is claiming sovereignty or maritime influence in excess of what is appropriate under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. What is the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea all about? The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea is an international agreement between the member states that arose from the Third United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea, concluded between 1973 and 1982 and replaced the 1958 Convention on the High Seas, coming into force in 1994. The UNCLOS delineated the rights and responsibilities of countries pertaining to their use of the oceans, establishing the regulations for the conduct of free and fair business relations, and emphasizing the importance of conservation of the marine environment and natural resources. The UNCLOS was essential to demarcate the outer limits of a state's sovereignty over the ocean so that the exercise of the maritime rights of one state do not impinge upon the freedom of another. Internal waters. The internal waters include all water and waterways landward of the baseline and are entirely a part of the state's sovereign territory. Thus, all laws that apply domestically on land are applicable here. Territorial waters. Territorial waters lie 12 nautical miles seaward from the baseline. The state holds sovereignty similar to its internal waters extending to the airspace, water column and seabed with the exception of the right to innocent passage. Contiguous zone. The contiguous zone is located 24 nautical miles seaward from the baseline. The state only holds partial sovereignty and can only enforce laws in the areas of customs, immigration, taxation and pollution. Exclusive Economic Zone. The Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ, is situated 200 nautical miles seaward and includes the contiguous zone. The state only holds limited sovereignty restricted to the exclusive right to exploit any natural resources on the seabed and the water column. Continental Shelf. The continental shelf stretches 350 nautical miles seaward from the baseline. It is a natural prolongation of the land territory into the sea where rights of states are restricted to exploration and exploitation of natural resources within 100 nautical miles of isobar. The High Seas Freedoms codified as Article 2 in the 1958 Convention on the High Seas and in Article 87 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea professes that the high seas are open to all states and all states may exercise their high seas freedoms without the prior notification or permission of the coastal state. These freedoms include the freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, freedom to lay submarine cables and pipelines, freedom to construct artificial islands and other installations, and the freedom of fishing, subject to restrictions of the UNCLOS and other treaties and conventions of international law. Freedom of navigation operations entails that as per customary international law, flagships of any sovereign state may not suffer any interference from any other state in their ability to move their vessels freely, enter ports, utilize plants and docks, load and unload goods, and transport goods and passengers in the areas defined under the UNCLOS. Freedom of navigation operations are conducted to operationalize and enforce this freedom in defense of relevant international law and customs, and is meant to constrain a state's excessive maritime claims over the coastal seas in order to balance sovereign equality with international interdependence. Excessive maritime claims are contentions made by states inconsistent to the UNCLOS. Such claims are incompatible with legal framework corresponding to the ocean or the airspace or restrictions on the rights of navigation and overflight. It is here that FONOPS become different from the right of innocent passage. Firstly, right of innocent passage concedes to the authority of the coastal state over their territorial sea, whereas freedom of navigation operations challenges it. Secondly, right of innocent passage acknowledges that it is sailing through a country's territorial waters, while freedom of navigation operations maintains that they are sailing in the high seas. Thirdly, right of innocent passage permits maneuvering vigorously and multidimensionally through the area, while freedom of navigation operations allows swift and cautious movement, with radars and drones deactivated and shipbound. India believes that the UNCLOS may not be interpreted as allowing other states to carry out military exercises or maneuvers in the exclusive economic zone or in the continental shelf without prior permission from the coastal state. The freedom of navigation operations conducted by the USA on 7th of April 2021 was primarily to challenge India's excessive claim as per India's 1976 Territorial Waters, Continental Shelf, Exclusive Economic Zones and Other Maritime Zones Act, which requires that ships provide and obtain advance authorization to move through the exclusive economic zone, which is inconsistent with the principles of the freedom of navigation defined in the UNCLOS. US Navy claims that such requirements of providing and obtaining advance authorization from coastal states are inconsistent with international law and are excessive maritime claims. As India has signed and ratified the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, its municipal laws must reflect the standards of the International Convention. Legally, there are a few realizations that complicate the freedom of navigation operations enforcement actions conducted by the United States of America. Firstly, the United States has not signed or ratified the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Secondly, playing the role as the global policeman without signing or ratifying United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea implies that America is holding other nations to standards it does not conform to itself. Thirdly, it is doubtful whether the explanations given by the US would have been accepted unquestioningly by the international community had it been any other country. Fourthly, the question arises here: can a state not having signed or ratified the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea justifiably undertake enforcement measures in defense of it against a state that has done so, with some reservations? Download material for this issue from our website. Please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you.